Hey everyone, before the video begins, I just want to take a minute to say thank you so much for 1,700 subscribers. Also, did you notice the low effort sprites that are on your screen right now? Yeah, I did this at 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm not really proud of how it looks, so I might change this in the near future. Anyways, I know my bitch ass is not why you're here. Let's get into the video. Random disclaimer! I will not tolerate any hate speech or anything of that sort towards the people that I interview. If you feel the need to say anything that's hateful, just know that you're wasting your time and I will be deleting comments as soon as they appear. Hello everybody! While we're recording on OBS, today I have a special person here, the wonderful Sophie Stardrop, the game developer of Heartstrings, a Yandere Story. How are you doing?
It's my very first interview, so I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, this is my first time interviewing anyone, anytime, honestly. So
This is like when the patient is like, "I'm nervous, doctor," and the doctor is like, "Yeah, I'm nervous. This is also my first time."
yeah, man, I just got out of surgical school. You're gonna be possibly all right.
Oh yeah, so true, so true.
Anywho, as I stated in that message, I have 20 questions for you, and you can choose to not answer them. You could choose to answer them. Some of these questions are gonna be joke questions because here on my channel, I do a lot of funny things. We don't take anything seriously at all. If you watched any of my videos. So, a lot of these questions will range from like questions about the story, the game, etc, etc, etc. You get the drift. I mean, you've seen interviews, I'm assuming.
I've seen a few interviews, not that many, but I do have them every now and then as like podcast.
Yeah. Alrighty, so are you ready for the first question?
Yes.
Alrighty, so, number 1. What were you expecting to gain when you started Heartstrings, and how has it changed, even if it did? In other words, what were your hopes creating this game, and if your hopes change, how did they?
Oh, that's an interesting first question. So, I don't know how many people know the original story. I assume a lot of people know the original story, but in case people don't know, the original, like, the reason why the game was created was pretty much a cry for help. I don't like to talk anymore about that kind of, like, past I have, but back when I first made the first proposal video, me and my back of the day boyfriend were having a very bad situation with a very bad person who did some very bad things, and we didn't have money to pay rent. So, my husband had a job back there, a job he didn't like, a job that was very bad, and a job he doesn't like to remember.
Yeah.
He did everything he could, but he couldn't get more money to pay rent. And in my case, I tried to open commissions, but they just weren't enough. And we needed at least $600 for rent only, just not even light or gas or anything, just rent. So I made the video. Well, before that, I was actually like thinking what to do because I couldn't sleep. Pinko was actually very sick. He started coughing up blood.
Oh my goodness, is he okay?
It's okay. He's actually very strong to most illnesses, but we do suspect he got a very specific illness from the country we were in that was very heavy.
Yeah.
So I pretty much had to take care of him. I had to buy him medication. I had to cook for him. I had to clean, and he couldn't do anymore. So I didn't know what to do. I was like, we were pretty much desperate. I didn't like. I didn't know how many options we had, and I just started watching YouTube just to like clean my mind, I guess, from like everything that was going on around us. A lot of the things that I've said in the first video are actually versions that are like way softer than the things that actually happened. Like, if you think that everything that I've said in the first video was like bad, I actually had to cut a lot of the things I wanted to say because I felt like it was so bad people wouldn't believe how bad it was.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Like,
yeah, I had to cut that.
Like, especially considering that you're asking for money. When I came across your channel,
especially that.
I think I was like one of the first 100 people, not to brag or anything, but like I was one of the first 100 people to see your video. and I feel so bad because I'm actually going through a similar thing. Not a similar thing at all, but it's like financially, since
Yeah.
I think I made this pretty clear that I got accepted to college, a very good university actually here, called SVA, and tuition is very expensive. So I understand how
Yeah.
you're so desperate, and like it's like commissions are not working because as of right now, I've only collected like what, $110, and
Yeah, that's
tuition's like 53K. You know, that's insane.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get you.
So
The thing is, it's just very hard to make money fast.
yeah.
And like quoting one of the characters from the original Yandere simulator, Kokona Haruka, one of the lines I remember her saying that I do relate to it all today is the only way to make money fast are gross. And that's true.
It
And I
is,
just
yeah.
didn't want to go through that.
I
So,
understand,
I
yeah.
just was I was watching Yandere Simulator videos because they just appear on my feed and I was like, wait, hold on a second. What if I just do it? Right? Like what if I just make my own game? And then I'm like, hey, you want to see this game, then please pretty help.
And look at
I don't
that,
know
like
who
it
else to
worked.
ask.
Like you have like so many
Yeah.
people now, and it's like that's awesome. First of all, like,
Yeah.
and
That's
I bet you're feeling very grateful with all of
I
that.
am very grateful. I'm just a little bit overwhelmed, I think.
No, I get it. Like I would be overwhelmed
Um
too. Yeah.
yeah. It's just we got the video and it became almost instantly like well known between the community. I didn't, it was unexpected, I'd said it. While me and my husband did know about some stuff from YouTube, like retention, a little bit how the algorithm work. In reality, we have to be honest, a lot of the algorithm like things and how they work, it has to do with both strategy and it also has to do a little bit with luck. So you could have the best video ever, the best thumbnail, but if YouTube says, nah, I don't want to recommend you today, then it just flops.
Yeah.
And it is not a weird tactic to just take down the video and then upload it again and it'll work. It's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was going to work. Sophie Stardrop as a channel had existed before. My first videos were Stardew Valley shorts. They're still on the channel because I forgot to private them. But the channel didn't have this like algorithm boost that every new channel has. So I didn't know if it was going to work. So I just kind of begged for it. And it did work. So we received the first $600. But before we reached the goal, another thing happened, and that we had 2 robberies.
Yeah.
So
like I remember
one of them was
I remember like you
Yeah.
were talking about that a lot, and I felt bad because I was like, dang, like she can't catch a break. Holy shit! Like what?
that's that's the summary of my life, to be honest. I cannot seem to ever catch a break. It was very bad. I'm sorry, my answers are very long.
No, it's okay. Trust me. I love people who talk a lot because I tend to talk a lot too. So
Thank you. So we tried to sell Pink Hat's computer, but the guy sent us like fake message about like the money being received, and then they just blocked us, so they stole the PC. Then we went out to eat because we had like, I don't know, 20-50 bucks left, and we didn't eat in all of the day. So we just went out to eat, thinking about what we were going to do. We went back to the house feeling hopeless, and the guy from the first video attempted to break into the house. He was very, very violent, so we had to pretty much push him out of the house and scream for help. After that, we just took a few knives and tried to protect ourselves from the night. And at that moment, I just said, you know what, fuck this. I don't care about what my parents are going to do. I'm just going to call them and pretty much just beg them for help.
yeah.
It did work. I don't like to talk about my family too much, but there's a reason why I left my house without them knowing. Like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we want to leave so soon.
No, trust me. Like I want to leave so bad right now too, but
Yeah.
financial dependence. You know, it sucks.
Yeah. Like, my father paid for the trip, for like the plane trip. We were outside of my home country, and we cannot count with Pink Cat's family. That's just, we cannot count with them. That's out of the question. At least my family was like there, like that's something. So he did pay for the plane tickets back to the house. However, we didn't have a lot of money for the bus tickets. Like, I think we did have money for the bus tickets to drive from one city to the next, but after that we didn't have like money for food. We didn't have money for buying some internet just to connect with my family. We had to stay in the house of someone we didn't know, so it was very tough.
Yeah.
And you know, after those days were over, we arrived here and we had so much shit to do. Because Pinka was like an immigrant to another country he didn't plan to travel to. That's like another set of papers.
Yeah.
So a lot of shit happened in December, January. It was just so much. It was so fucking much.
Yeah, no.
So
my heart goes out to you, honestly, because honestly, if I was in your perspective, like if I was in your shoes, I think I would off myself. Like, I'm not even trying to sugarcoat it. Oh my god. That's crazy. You're
don't
very
worry,
strong.
that's thank you, but that was the easiest part of my life. Because at least now I had a reason to fight, you know? Before this, I didn't have a reason to keep living on, and it just kept going. To be honest, I don't know what pushed me to make that video. I just had this idea, and like, I have 20 of ideas at the day of like things I want to do, but I don't do it because I have like, no, I should do this or I should do that. That's how I decide what to do in my day.
Yeah.
However, I don't know what inspired me to make that video. Like, I mean, I know what inspired it, but I don't know why I did it. Like the action of doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just had this like, I think I just had like a hope. Like I just had this vision that it would work, and I could have just used that time to make money in some gross way, but I just used my time to do something that may or may not work, and it somehow worked. So
it's like a blessing in disguise, you know?
Life is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. So, as going for the original question, so that was the original goal for the game. I wanted to make something very smart, and if you go back to the first video, you'll see that the characters are actually kind of like plain. So Fumeko is just like very cruel person, but she's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Mei changed so much. Mei used to be just like very plain girl who's just like I can fix him type of girl. Hisoka is just very blunt too. So yeah, to be honest, I don't like the original version of the story that much, but it was the version that made it like popular. So yeah, I am really thankful for that version. So I took that version and then I changed it a bit. So originally I had this like version because I knew it was possible for me to do it alone.
Yeah.
Mostly I've made games before. I don't like to talk about them because they are a lot of my projects before were attached to very bad people.
Yeah.
I don't like to give much information about them, but they do bring back painful memories. The only one that I did make public was this like Phoenix Wright X Yandere Simulator kind of game idea I had, and I was making it, but I just stopped. I have that one. It was like the second video of the channel. It has like 5,000 views. Pretty much no one saw it.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you were gonna make like, or not even gonna, but like you were in the process of making other games. That's pretty cool.
I've had a lot of ideas for games before, and in fact, Pink Cat is a programmer, like a very serious programmer. A lot of people just don't give him a chance, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's mostly because Pink Cat himself is not very like. He's more interested in making money so we can have a peaceful life and then focusing on the game instead of me, which I'm kind of like doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like since, you know, he's wishing for money and you're also like, because I feel like you're wishing for community to support to get money. And that's the money part is where he comes in. So it's like it works because you guys are in the same, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I will try to complete the answer first.
No,
I was
you are
yapping
good.
too much about my
You are
personal
so
story.
good. You are okay.
So like going back to the original question, like that was the original idea I had for the game. To just like make a game that was like easy to make. I would do it in like a few months and that's it. However, I started to receive a lot of like support, and at first I refused volunteers because I was scared of talking to people. I do have a lot of social anxiety. But then I started to like accept people, and then I started to develop the game a bit more, and I realized there were a lot of like plot holes, a lot of stuff that didn't make sense from the original idea. So I just started to build stuff up, and I came up with this like story that I really want to tell and that will really leave an impact of people. Like the original story wasn't planning on having that big of an impact on people, but the current story is like very cutesy at the beginning, like very funny, very dark. But then the story becomes insanely dark when you actually start to care about the characters. So yeah.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. Anyways, thank you for answering question 1. Let's go to question 2.
That was question 1. I'm sorry, Yaps.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Trust me, it's fine. When designing the characters, what were your biggest struggles?
So Fumeko, I had it like already made. I remember taking inspiration from the Gyaru characters from Yandere Story, the bullies, because I thought that Fumeko was this like very cruel person. So I thought the bullies could be a good inspiration. So I kind of just designed her, and I liked her color palette, and now she's just like there, and I just loved her from the first moment. Hisoka, it was kind of the same. I just changed his hair from brown to red. Now Mei was a real fucking challenge.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with Mei. At first I had this idea from like a curly black hair cute girl, but then I just started to think about it, and this like I wanted her to have this very angelic look to her, like she's trying too hard to be perfect.
Yeah.
So I then began to struggle with like the color palettes, and it was so much. At the end, funnily enough, I didn't like Meikawa's original finished design that is shown in the third video about the game. I didn't like her, but after I began to develop in her story and how she acted and why she's the way she is, I genuinely started to love her design because, first of all, her design is inspired by pandas. Second of all, the thing that I didn't like about her design is that it kind of screams, I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt that for like Mei's design. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wait, that actually makes sense. Because like Mei had this very big trauma when she was a child. And after that trauma, she was like this reprogrammed to be perfect for her family. So yeah, it makes sense why her design, even if she's trying to be so cutesy, it also speaks like, I don't know who I am, because Mei doesn't know who she is.
Yeah.
She thinks she knows because she's just perfect. She has to be the light of everyone else, so that's who she must be, right? Yeah. But she's always having this like little craving that she doesn't know who she truly is because her past self has been forgotten. So yeah, that was like the biggest challenge was Mei, definitely. Kaori was kind of just there. I mean, I like her, just cute. Yumi is very interesting because just like Fumeko, I just had this like, I thought of Yumi, I thought of like how she would look, and then I immediately saw her like, okay, red hair, short hair. Yeah. And I was like, wait, why did I just immediately thought of that? And then I was like, oh wait, I actually kind of like it. Let's draw this. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's Yumi. That's Yumi. It's just a feeling I have for like characters and how they look, and they just fit well, I think.
And also like character design, when you're creating them, they have to show like personality, like through their characters.
Yeah.
What I like about your characters is that when especially with Fumeko, her character design is so distinctly different compared to everyone else's that you can tell, yeah, this is our main character. Mainly because, first of all, the rolled up sleeves and the slight alters in the uniform. I like how you did that a lot.
Horn.
Yeah, and the little like hair horns on like, yeah, I love that a lot. I love that.
Fumeko is not the same without the hair horns. Like, oh, that's just a girl with short green hair. You add the horns. Fumeko Nomura from
Whoa!
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 Yeah, she has protagonist vibes, and I love that.
Yeah. Anywho, again, thank you for answering question 2. Question 3. I noticed that you're using a form of hybrid animation to make Heartstrings, meaning that it's a mix of 2D animation with 3D background. Was there any reason as to why you wanted that animation style in your game?
I actually wanted to make the game fully 2D. But Pink had suggested 2.5D because it would just like look very modern and stuff.
Yeah.
I really like Stardew Valley, but I have to admit it does look like a game that came out a lot like in like the 2010s mid.
Yeah.
But it did come out nearly in 2020. I really like that aesthetic because it's like kind of retro and all that stuff, but in the case of a game like Heartstrings, aesthetic that looks a lot more like nowadays, I guess, would feel better because a lot of the characters are very modern, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pink had suggested a 2.5D kind of scenario, and I really like that. And you know, we started to learn a lot about Godot. Pink Cat actually knows a lot about Godot itself, but he prefers to leave like the work to someone else. Then he checks it and he's like, okay, just change this, change that, because he already knows the work. So he's leaving it to someone else, and then he just checks the work and he's like, okay, change this, change that, we could do this, we could do that, because he already knows what we're doing. He's just saving time.
Yeah.
So yeah. In the case of why I chose 2D in the first place, it's because I don't know 3D and I've been a 2D animator for a very long time. So I'd say that's about it. And I just like 2D.
Yeah. I also like. Why did I say like twice? Do you hear me? I also.
It's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, I also really love how Heartstrings is gonna look completely different than any Yandere game that I've ever seen, because I was really happy with the 2D, like the hybrid animation style. Love that, because we have gotten so many 3D Yandere games. Like, it's becoming a snooze fest at this point. So when I finally saw your thing, I feel like your way of creating a Yandere game is so unique, which will benefit you in the long run. I really like that a lot. I also like how there's a chibi style and there's an anime style for serious and funny. I like that, man. You're just so creative.
Yeah. In reality, a lot of those choices were not only because I like them, but because they serve a functional purpose. One of the things I remember seeing from a Yandere video was him saying that limitations in game development can actually lead to a lot of good creative decisions.
Yeah.
And even if it didn't work for Yandere Sim, I do think that's a genuinely good phrase. Because I do tell these people when they want to be creative and such, like, I don't know how to be creative. If you want like a challenge for yourself, just play your favorite game, like, I don't know, Mario, and then you say, okay, so I'm playing this favorite game, but I cannot jump, or I can't crunch, or I can't do like any of those stuff.
So basically we're just fucked.
That a lot of the usual gameplay. Yeah, so a lot of the usual gameplay is insanely more difficult, and you have to find creative ways to go around those problems. Game development is actually a lot similar to that. If you find a problem and you cannot solve it, it's better to just not waste time into trying to force it to work and just find a solution, a workaround. For example, I wanted to make the animations, like the kill animations, they weren't originally like Among Us. They were like very inspired by the Yandere Sim thing, and then Pinka was like, no, that may take too much because you have to calculate the position of the student, you have to calculate the position of Fumeko, you need to have two different animations that need to sync, so that's too much. And he told me, hey, why don't we just add this kill animation inspired by Among Us, and we show it, and then the corpse is already dead. So it was creative, like it was funny, and it was a solution to a problem. Yeah. And it worked better because now it's more unique, it has more personality. Creativity is born by just a necessity. And that's just true. A lot of the things in Heartstrings are actually workarounds to problems. For example, I couldn't make a 3D game because I don't know 3D. Okay, so we make a 2D game. The anime style is very detailed. It's very hard to animate. We're not doing anime style, we're doing chibi style. We need a way to resize the chibi characters so they look well in different resolutions. What do? Instead of soft shading, we use cel shading, and we decide to use vectors. So that works good. And it looks very good, it looks very poppy, it looks very modern, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Like I noticed, like
um,
especially when in the March update build, like you showed how it looked so good, especially in like what's it called, Toon Boom? That's the animation software you guys are
Boom
using.
Animation Harmony.
Oh yeah,
Genuine
yeah, yeah,
Harmony,
yeah.
yeah.
I really like that, especially because first of all, the rigging, perfect, awesome. I like it a lot. I also liked there was this one section where like the characters were like confused at like a body or something, and then they would like shift their eyes to the viewer and then back at what they were looking at. I don't know, that's just a
Yep.
little bit of an Easter egg that I really like. My friend Rogue, actually, I mentioned him in my channel. We were watching your update thing, and he mentioned that, and he really liked it a lot.
There's a lot of creative freedom for the animators and stuff. For example, the thing you just said right now wasn't actually planned. I just told the animator, hey, how about we make it longer for the student to notice something weird? Because then the player would know, like, hey, the student stopped moving, they probably noticed something. So the thing of like Maujax adding the little eyes looking at the viewer, that was just Maujax's thing. So it
Yeah.
looks better because people just have their own visions into the game, and that just makes the experience richer. People make the experience richer by adding their own taste to it. And you have to learn how to balance when it's too much from other people and too little from you,
Yeah.
and when it's too much from you and too little from people. That's very hard, but that's why I try to give my team a lot of freedom, even when I do give them very like strict directions, like you have to do this and it have to be like that. The rest is up to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Now let's go to number 4, and I think a lot of your fans will love for you to answer this question. Will the background characters include your fans' game OCs in the future?
Nope.
Guys, unsubscribe now. I'm
It's
joking.
copyright
I'm
issues.
joking. I'm joking. Relax.
No. No, they won't have OCs, mostly for copyright issues. Your OCs are always your OCs. A lot of the new characters are actually created by the volunteers. However, they were made specifically for the game. They had to fit a lot of the game standards. They had multiple like variations of themselves. So they are still for the game.
Yeah.
And as such, the characters need to fit very specific criteria.
Yeah.
A lot of fan OCs, I've seen them and I really love them. However, I cannot add OCs because they are the creation of that follower. You see that person. It's their original character, and sadly, there could be a lot of legal problems because of that. I do have a lot of like the consent from the volunteers, like, okay, I'm working for the game, this is my work for the project, and when they leave, I did ask him, hey, can we still use this kind of stuff? Like, I do tell them this stuff cannot be replaced, but this other stuff can be changed because we haven't done a lot, so if you want them removed, that's fine. If you don't want them, it's fine. So I do give them a lot of like freedom. So yeah,
So
that's
you guys
my
hear
answer.
that? Annabelle Lenore will not be in the game. Ah! Alright, we're gonna live. Anyways.
I am very sorry.
No, it is
Please, just
okay.
make your like. If anyone is like listening to this from my audience who have their own stories for like characters, just do your own stories. Don't ask me to add your own characters because I may change them in a way you don't like them. So if you have your original character and you have your yandere and all that stuff, I'd say that just make your own story, make your own stuff, because you can choose what you want to do with them. It's your character, it's your story, no one can tell you anything. So
yeah, basically, the follow-up question to number 4, depending on your answer, would be like, so instead of like a game OC, what if they volunteered to make the designs of the background characters? Will that be like any different? Because I know that you said that like OCs, you don't want to add OCs, but if they design characters for your game, will that change anything?
I mean, technically, the Larry, for example, Hard Monitor, they were designed for the game,
Mm-hmm.
and I did tell them that no matter what happened, their design will be used in the game, and they will always be credited as a character designer.
Yeah.
It will be in the game, so it's like already in the game, and they will always be credited no matter how bad we end up or no matter what happens. The only exception to this is obviously something very extreme, such
Yeah.
as like the groom word. If they do something like
Yeah.
that,
If you
then
did.
yeah, no, that's out of the game.
Yeah. No, trust me.
but,
I understand
but if it's
completely.
like something about egos, like a fight between volunteers and one of them wants to leave, that's fine. I'm not going to just take the credit away from them. It doesn't matter how rude they are to me. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going to credit them as a designer because that's just a part of my ethics as like a leader, I suppose.
Yeah.
Again, the only exception is something very extreme, but so far no one has done that, and I'm very happy for it.
Yeah. Thankfully, like, trust me, I completely
Yeah.
understand. The internet.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, the internet can be really crazy, especially when people see
Yeah.
an opportunity. Because I've seen this with my
Yeah.
own two beady eyes, you know. People assume just because, oh, I can volunteer for a game, they're just gonna think they could just do whatever the hell they want and not get consequences. And when they do get consequences, they think they can be an asshole. Guys, if you are applying for a game or volunteering for a game, don't be a dick. Just don't be an asshole. Be a good person. Yeah.
That's one of the things. I've seen a lot of people criticizing a lot of like what I say, especially when both team members leave. Two team members left.
Mm-hmm.
I said publicly, the reasons are private. Please don't ask about them. We wish them good luck in their journey and all that stuff. Other people are like, no, you have to be honest. You have to give the reasons to.
Nah.
However, what would that do? For example, I don't want to say any of the reasons why they both left, because as a leader and especially as a YouTuber, I need to make sure that people who want to cause drama or cancellation, all that stuff, stay as far away from my people. At least I take care of my team. If people say like rumors about me, like, oh no, she treats poorly her volunteers, that's why they left, in reality they don't know shit. They don't know
Exactly.
shit. And to be honest, there's no point in replying to them because they're just making up stuff. So I just let them make their conjectures because I know the moment I respond is the moment they're going to feel acknowledged. And at that moment, there's going to be a drama bigger and bigger, and they may harass the current team members. And I have to do my best to attempt to make that smaller because I'm trying to protect my team, my game, my own life, my own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I have to protect all of that. And sometimes that also means when you receive insults, instead of responding or defending yourself, you have to just give the other cheek to be hit harder.
Of
So
course.
that's just a thing you have to accept when you do this kind of stuff. That's a part of being a leader. You have to be humble. You have to it hurts. A lot of the time it hurts because they're telling lies about you and
Yeah.
that's not what you said and you can prove it. But if you do prove it, it's going to be bigger. So what do? In my case, I found that the best solution is to just let them talk, and eventually it'll just come. They'll just go around. A lot of like the first video had a lot of like criticism because I made Yandere simulator videos and people are like, no, make Heartstrings video or Heartstrings video. I made the first build. A lot of people were doubtful still, and I didn't really know what to do. I felt very bad. I cried for a lot of days. Pinka can testify to that.
Yeah.
I cried because I didn't know what to do. I didn't want people to hate me over lies. And Pinka just told me, just do your thing, ignore them, and just keep moving forward. And then
Exactly.
came the march up, and pretty much a lot of the people who were hating me, they just stopped hating, like immediately after the march update. So it's a thing about being a leader, and it's just a thing about doing what's best for everyone, even if sometimes that means getting hurt yourself a little. So yeah.
And plus, like, whatever happens in your personal team, your fans don't know how. They don't need to know everything. Like, they don't need
Yeah.
to know, like, every nitty gritty personal thing. The only thing that I feel like whenever a team member leaves, is personal between you and that team member. You don't have to broadcast that like this is Fox News, you know? And I feel like
Yeah.
people tend to be entitled. They're like, "Oh, well, if we're following this game, we got to know everything." You guys don't have to know everything. If something personal
There's a lot
happens,
of
keep it
yeah.
personal. You know, like
There's Yeah, so there's a lot of things that, for example, happen to team members. I'm not going to mention specifics, but there was one team member in particular who had something very personal bad happening to them, and I gave them space. I gave them a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff it will never be public because I don't want people to harass them. There's also another thing that I feel like a lot of people are forgetting, and it's that we're in the Yandere Simulator community, a community that was formed by the freaking Yandere dev himself, and we all know what happened with Yandere dev.
yikes, yeah.
So I have even the double eyes on me all the time, so I have to do what's better for everyone, even if that means taking a bit of like reputational damage. I know a lot of the time I make mistakes, I say things that maybe I don't feel at the time. I do have my own issues, but I am trying my best to correct myself, to ask for forgiveness if I've said something that hurt people. I'm always trying to improve as a leader. I've been a leader before, but I've never had so many eyes on me at the same time. And like it or not, I do have social anxiety. I mean, I don't think I have the exact illnesses like
Yeah.
as social anxiety, but I do know that I have some kind of social anxiety. Like, it's not normal to just go to a store and begin incredibly shaken by the mere thought of speaking to the cashier. That's just not a thing that happens to usual people.
And
So,
plus, like, you're human, you know? Like, we're all gonna make mistakes. Hell, I feel like there might be a mistake in the future that I will make and I will have to publicly apologize, such as everybody in the planet. So, at the end of the day, it's okay to give yourself a little bit of a break. It's okay because, again, you're human and it's normal to feel emotions. And I don't really have social anxiety, but I can only imagine how it feels to have that. And personally, in my opinion, if people can't understand that, then pardon my language, but they could just go fuck themselves, you know? Anyways, thank you so much for answering that. Now it's time for question 6. We've seen in the March update video that you mentioned how Hisoka is a murderer too. Does Fumeko find this out and then fall in love with him, or does she not know until later on in the...
She knows very early in the story. So as the story goes, I do have the story summary made. I have to change a few things, but yeah. As the story goes, Fumeko is a murderer. She wants to have a challenge, a physical challenge. So Hisoka is the new classmate. He lost a year. He's actually a little bit older than her. Because he was in another class, but he lost a year and he went back. So she's like, oh, so she does have a little like physical crush on him. She does think he's attractive, even if people around her tell him that he's scary, he's ugly, and all that stuff. But she does think he's attractive. So she follows him around and she's like, okay, I got my new victim. I'm just going to follow them. So that's the tutorial. It's just following Hisoka around. You get a little basic, and then you can just explore the school until you have to leave to watch the cutscene. After that tutorial, you find Hisoka is walking towards a part you never noticed of the school. So there's this secret part of the school you've never seen because it seems to like be against this like fake wall or like something very, very specific. So Hisoka goes there to feed birds. That's his pastime. He just likes to feed birds and look at them. And then you find Hiroshi. Hiroshi has followed Hisoka, and Hiroshi's like asking him for money. Hiroshi's a very bad character. Like not a bad character as like a character, but he's a bad person.
Yeah.
So the thing is, this is something you learn in True Ending. You don't know this at the beginning, but in True Ending you can explain that Hisoka has been a murderer too, but he noticed he made a mistake, and one of his victims' sibling saw Hisoka murdering their sibling, and then it was very horrible. Like Hisoka saw himself being weak again, and he started to hate himself because of what he had done to people. He does have an eating disorder. He's anorexic. So he began to eat a lot, to deal with anxiety, but then his father constantly like body shaming him because there's just a lot to Hisoka. There's a lot to him that people just don't know.
And look, now
Hisoka
everyone's
did
gonna
start to develop, and
now everyone's gonna say like, "Ugh, I can fix him." Ugh.
oh, shut up.
Oh, but continue, sorry.
So, in the case in the case of Hisoka, he at first began to eat compulsively to deal with like the guilt, the pain, and no one knew. So his family is also very abusive. So yeah. After that, he went to the other extreme, which was starving himself. So he developed this like double stomach deformity, which happens when you are obese and then you just lose weight very fast. So
Yeah.
he had this like constant cycle of sometimes just not eating for weeks and then just eating so much, then feeling guilty, then adding the other pressure and all that stuff, and he just couldn't no longer live with that. That was his life. Until like he met Hiroshi in his other class, and Hiroshi was this like perfect boy. He was like athletic, he plays soccer, he has a girlfriend, it just seems like the perfect boy everyone likes. So yeah, Hiroshi became close to Hisoka in the case of Hiroshi because he saw someone he could manipulate easily. So he gained Hisoka's trust, and Hisoka admitted to everything that had happened, the death of his sister, the murders, everything. And Hiroshi's like, okay, that's very sad, but how about you pay me so I don't say what you did?
That's crazy.
So yeah, Hiroshi kept harassing Hisoka for money, and then Hisoka's like, okay, I don't want to deal with this. So Hisoka lost the year on purpose. You learned that in True Ending. So at the beginning of the game, you see the cutscene Hiroshi asking Hisoka for money, and there is implication that Hisoka was already a murderer. So Hisoka's like, okay, whatever, I don't care anymore, just leave me alone. So Hisoka doesn't. He doesn't want anything to do with Hiroshi. He's like, okay, I don't even care if people know anymore. Just leave me alone. I've already been through enough. And Hiroshi's like losing the grip on Hisoka. And Hiroshi, what he does is that he grabs one of the birds Hisoka was feeding and starts to squish him, like that attempts to hurt the bird. So it's Hiroshi does a very specific way of tormenting the bird, which is like stretching the neck of the bird. That's because there's another spoiler. Hisoka's sister committed suicide. She hanged herself. So
oh my goodness.
Hiroshi does this to torment Hisoka, and Hisoka just has had enough of it, just begged him to stop, and when he doesn't, Hisoka attacks Hiroshi in this like burst of rage and he murders him. And then Hisoka doesn't immediately feel guilty. That's the thing. Hisoka is like, oh, so now you're the one who's like weak. And Fumeko sees this. Fumeko has followed. She's like hidden, and she's like, oh, so Hisoka's like me for real. He's just like me for real. And then she's like, so you don't get Hisoka's backstory at the beginning of the game. You only get Fumeko's perspective, which is just like this edgy, cool boy has just murdered the son of a bitch. Whoa. And he's just like me for real, yeah. And he's like, I mean, he's kind of nice like this, I kind of don't want to fix him. He's kind of just like me, No,
I completely get it.
Yeah. At this point, another character appears, which is Meikawa, and she sees that scene, and then Hisoka immediately goes to like his before state where he's like guilty for murdering people. He immediately goes back to that, and Mei's like, okay, you did something bad, but I can help you. We can forget about this. Just let me help you. Let me fix you.
Bye.
And yeah. And Fumeko's like, bitch, what the fuck? He's perfect. You don't fix him, okay? Shut up.
I like him the way that he is.
Yeah, I like him broke. I can make him worse. So yeah, Fumeko says I love this. And that's the way Mei and Hisoka meet. It's like Hisoka is taken aback because Mei's being so kind and understanding of the situation. This will be heavily implied in the game, but it won't be explored, at least in this game. But Mei and Hiroshi already have a background of abuse before. I don't want to give too many details, but Hiroshi was always addicted to Mei before she was reprogrammed, and after that, they do have a little like encounter. So Mei also has a reason why she kinda doesn't even react to Hiroshi being dead. Mei also went through a lot of trauma, but we won't see this in the game. So I do know the trauma that happened to Mei. It was around like a play and stuff, but even Mei herself doesn't remember a lot of this. So the only people who knew Mei before she was reprogrammed into this perfect girl were Yumi and Hiroshi. This won't be talking the game. I know her trauma, but Mei herself doesn't remember her trauma, and Yumi prefers to not talk about it because Mei told her not to. So I'm not going to say her trauma exactly, but yeah. The thing is, that's where the game begins. Mei is like, hey, I'm going to have this birthday. I'm turning 18 tomorrow, so how about you come to my birthday? And, Hisoka's like, no, I probably shouldn't. They do eventually meet up in her birthday outside of her house. Mei comes from this very rich kind of family, like pretending to be rich, and he gives her a gift, and they just talk about like meeting at school and all that stuff. So yeah, though that's like the intro cutscene. So yes, Fumeko does know Hisoka is a murderer at the beginning of the game, and Hiroshi's corpse is the one we don't want people to find out by calling the police, because if they find Hiroshi's body, Hisoka is also going to jail. So that's why we don't want the police here.
No, definitely. Jeez Louise, dude. Oh my god, Fumeko.
It's a heavy story.
Fumeko, what is wrong with you?
Oh, a lot is wrong with her. Don't get me wrong.
Oh lord. Oh my goodness.
She's a murderer. I think there's a lot of wrong with her.
Yeah, really?
No shit.
Wow. Alrighty. That was very interesting. Question 7 now.
Thank you.
You're welcome, by the way. Will the background characters have different voices, or only special characters do?
The background characters, such as the faculty members, they do have a very specific voice. However, female and male students are just background characters. They're just extremely background characters. That's another reason why I wouldn't accept OC characters, because that's just... And immediately, the fact that, how do I say this? The background characters, such as female and male students, are the way they are, is because it's 2D animation, and we don't want to render a bunch of hair pieces just for background characters who don't add anything to the story. So, the background characters are there to save space for the game. They just have this very set of, like, animations, and they're just going to stay that way. There's also the fact that, they don't really add anything to the story, so having them all be the same actually works in the favor of the game, so people will take more notice of the main characters instead of the background ones.
Yeah. That's actually, that's fair. I actually, I agree with that. Speaking of background characters, question 8, will the background characters have, different like styles to them, like, or will they just all be copy and paste of background character female and male?
Most of them are the same. They're just meant to be students, pretty much. There is one thing that will happen in True Ending. In True Ending, on Thursday, you will get a task from Mei asking you to, hey, let's do an activity after school. However, I need to convince the hall monitor to let me do this in like the patio, how do I say this in English?
Like the balcony?
Just do something
or the roof?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Just please ask the hall monitor to allow me to do this for like activity. And Fumeko's like, all right. So you have to talk to hall monitor. And hall monitor is like, alright, so you want a task from me? Go spy on your fellow students and tell me their gossip. I want to find troublemakers.
Okay. Alright then.
So hall monitor is like that kind of character. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's kind of like dad-like, and he's like, okay, I want to find troublemakers, so go spy on like those students.
I want to know the tea
So,
of the new gens.
Yeah. Canon, yeah. So the point of this is not only to show how much of personality, which is obviously like, it's kind of funny, but it's also like at that point of the story, you have from Monday to Friday to develop Fumeko as a character, from make her go to a murderer to a redeemable character for trending. So the point of Thursday, which is before Friday, is to finally make Fumeko see her fellow students as actual people instead of just background NPC characters. So when you go and search for the characters you can gossip about, you get a minigame where you have to do some stuff and then you learn gossip. The thing is, I am planning on having, for example, when the minigame is over, you get a little conversation when you learn some gossip about stuff, and Fumeko for once begins to care about the students. And when she does this, the anime renders of the character will stop just being female students, and they will have like different shades of purple going into other colors gradually. So this is only for the anime style, but for example, maybe a female student will slowly begin to have more red hair and more short hair, and Fumeko will start to see them as like actual individuals. At least in the anime style, not the TV style.
So it's like,
yes.
have you ever watched the anime A Silent Voice? And have you seen that scene?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so there's a scene with the main character that he regrets bullying this deaf girl, and when he grows up to go to high school, he starts to see the world like everyone has an X on their face. So my interpretation of what you said was that whenever Fumeko like actually starts seeing like the other characters, the background characters, as like genuine people, they'll start to get like an actual like design to them.
That's the point.
That's really cool.
For example, when you meet Yumi on Monday, after you make gives you like a task to befriend Yumi, she first appears as like a female student, and when she introduces herself, she actually gets like the chibi design for Yumi. That's also a thing to tell the player that not everyone looks like female monster. This is just Fumeko's perspective.
That's really cool. That's actually really cool.
So yeah. That's also the thing, because I want to give like a gut punch on Friday. Friday is when everything goes down to shit. You get to Friday in true end and you already beat the game. You just need to watch the cutscenes.
Yeah. That's so cool. I never knew that. That's so unique. Nice. Alrighty. Question 9. Will there be clubs that give the player special abilities, such as a sports club to make their speed and strength faster, or a cooking club to make it easier for the player to befriend others?
Nope.
Well, there you have it.
No, but like I do have my pickles with that, because having to join clubs and searching for club leaders means that you need to know that there's club leaders in the first place, and that's just too much, you know? Besides, what abilities do you have? Fumeko doesn't even have reputation.
Exactly.
So, yeah. That's just unnecessary, so...
Yeah. Alrighty. Question 10. When you mentioned minigames, what kind of ideas did you have in mind?
Oof, so many. For example, I want every minigame to at least be used twice in different situations. For example, I don't like to call it the sports club because that's just very general, that's just not how it works. So there's a basketball club, fighting with the soccer club for this very specific, this cancha. I don't know how to say it in English, but the place where they play pretty much.
Like
and you can have a minigame. Yeah. So here in Chile, we have the soccer field, the basketball field, be the same field. So sometimes the team fights for who gets to play with at what time. So yeah. The point is, in the basketball team, you can actually, I want to have a minigame where you can throw a ball towards like the thing, and you have to like calculate the time, like the speed, the force, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the idea is that in the regular gameplay, that minigames is both fun, and it serves to calm Fumeko's stress down. If your stress is very high, you will play the minigame very wrongly. Like, it'll be harder to play the minigame, almost impossible if your stress is very high.
Yeah.
But it does calm Fumeko down even if she doesn't get it right, because it's just a game to her. So doing physical activity will calm Fumeko's stress down. So yeah, you can do that, and that's a way to, calm yourself down, to make the game easier for you. In true ending, and not only true ending, but in the case you want to be a murderer, you can have the possibility of throwing your uniform, your bloody uniform, as a ball with your weapon of choice, and hide it in the same place Hiroshi's corpse is hidden. So, Cool. It is implied that after the end of the day, Fumeko does get rid of the bloody uniform, all that stuff. I don't know if I'm going to add that because that's just an idea. Maybe they'll just be there and they just will be there. Goddess corpse will be there.
Yeah.
I don't know much about like the uniform. I do think she will take it away just to like not have evidence that it was her, but the corpse will probably just leave it there because the corpse is a lot more like dangerous, you know?
Yeah. Alrighty.
So yeah, that's one mini game. We have another mini game, for example. You will have a mini game where you can make masks and you can paint the mask. It's not a mini game about ability. It's just a mini game where you can just paint a white mask and whatever you have painted in the mask, Fumeko will wear it, and that you can just do fun stuff with that. That's a part of True Ending, and that's another way you can relax the stress or just play any mini game. The thing it does is that you have fun. That's the whole thing. You can only you have fun.
Yeah.
I do want a lot of those minigames to be used in the very specific eliminations at the end of the day that will lead to other endings, so yeah. You have a sneaking minigame that will be also used in True Ending when you need to steal stuff from the nurse, from Larry. You have to play this sneaking minigame that will also happen every time you need to sneak a corpse to the secret area of the school. It may be a different minigame, I'm not sure myself, but yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. Alrighty, question 11. Will there be any merch in the far future? If so, what kind?
Maybe not in the far future, but I do like the idea of having like posters or stickers or just pins. Small things, to be honest.
Yeah. That's really cool. I would love to have like a little poster of that. That would be awesome. You know what else would be awesome? If you guys watch my little announcement real quick. Recently, I got accepted to SVA. Woohoo! My dream school. Awesome. Until I looked at that tuition. God fucking damn. And to help with the tuition being paid off, I'm going to open commissions. And I really, really would appreciate if you get my commissions. Everything that you would need to know is directly on my Ko-fi page, so that will be linked in the description and in the pinned comments. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach me out over here. Although my preferable way of communication will be on my Instagram or on my Ko-fi DMs, but again, those options are available. Please. My mom kinda homeless. Question 12. What kind of place
And the parents were the child.
Yeah.
That's also something I relate to deeply about Meikawa. I've been also this kind of like mediator for my parents, for people around me. I always had to be this like person to listen to everyone's problems and find their solved things. So you know,
Yeah.
I've also been in Hisoka's situation because I've been the kind of girl that a lot of ex-boyfriends have tried to fix because I was broken and I needed this like Prince Charming to fix me.
Oh
so, yeah,
man.
I don't like that. Yeah. So I can relate to Hisoka, I can relate to Fumeko having like being a teenager who was like thinking she could eat the world and all that stuff. I've been there too. I've been that many times in the adulthood too. But the point is, yeah, there's a bit of me in every character, and that's why I understand them so much. But there's also characters like Hiroshi that have the least bit of me. They are more inspired by people around me, if anything. But there's also like that. I have to admit, a lot of because I'm autistic, I don't understand a lot of things like social things about life.
Yeah, like
I don't
social
understand
cues and all
people. I
that.
don't understand a lot of things. Yeah. So, for example, Hiroshi represents a lot of the people who have abused me in that way. Hiroshi's very much an abuser. I've never been shy to say that. Hiroshi represents a lot of people that are sadly still close to me. I don't like to say names, but there's someone in particular in very close proximity to me who makes, for example, very misogynistic jokes, cancer jokes, makes a lot of those very
Yikes.
distasteful jokes, even racist jokes in front of my husband because he's from a specific country. So,
Ooh.
Hiroshi is kind of like that. So yeah. Um, so Hiroshi's kind of that, and I do like to write politically wrong characters, I guess you can call them that,
Yeah.
because it's a way for me to help me understand this kind of situation. So yeah, so Hiroshi is that kind of character. So I do use a lot of like I write a lot of like bad people characters just because I want to understand bad people around me. I just want to understand people around me, so I write characters that I can understand, and that way I can explain a lot of the things that happen around me. So yeah, I do that every now and then.
Me personally, when I create my characters, right, I tend to include me, but also other people into my stories and
Yep.
characters. That leads to like authentic character design, character personalities, because it's not just only you're reflecting other people as well, without directly saying, this is the person that represents this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
That's just the thing of writing characters that you can understand, because I've seen a lot of stories where they clearly wrote a character they didn't understand and it shows. So I just try to avoid that by writing with the heart mostly.
Alrighty. Question 14. Have you considered a future Mac slash mobile slash console port?
Yes, we do.
That's thank God, because my MacBook Air would love to have Heartstrings on it. I don't
It's
have
okay. It's okay.
I don't have a Windows because for some reason, my mom just thought it was a good
It's
idea to get me
okay.
a
It's
Mac.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
it's good for
suffering.
working.
Huh?
It's good for working.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Anywho, question 15. Since you mentioned that the game will only have one rival, how would you plan to make her as memorable as possible?
Dialogues. I really like dialogues. I like writing dialogues. I like to give a lot of depth to her. For example, the game is not designed so you go through true ending first. True ending has a lot of minigames that they won't give you a tutorial, no matter if you didn't see the minigame before. You won't have a tutorial, and it's the hardest version of the minigame. So the game is designed that you've played the minigames at least a couple of times. You need to know very specific things. For example, you need to earn money in a you can do this, you can do that. In true ending, nobody tells you shit. You have to already know.
Yeah.
So true ending is like the final route, to say it in a way. You can play it from day one, but maybe you won't get that far because you need to know very specific things to get to know that. Things that will be hinted at or will be teach through regular gameplay. So in regular gameplay, Hisoka and Meikawa will have a lot of conversations with one another. You get to know a lot about Mei, mostly because she's the one who's mostly doing the talking. She talks a lot about herself. So you get to know Meikawa through their interactions. In true ending, you get to know even more of Meikawa. In the alternate endings, you get to know even more of Meikawa, and you get to see different sides of her character. That if you play all of the endings, you will finally get like the full picture of who Meikawa is. And true ending is like the final gut punch to who she is. I don't want people to be like, oh, I hate Meikawa because she's a narcissist. She is a narcissist, alright, but she's a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah.
Once you get to know a lot of stuff about Mei, you get to realize Mei is not only just a cute face and it's not just a narcissist. You get to know that even if you don't know what happened to her, you do not know what was her trauma, but you do get an idea that she's more complex than what you first saw. The same way Fumeko saw Hisoka was more complex than just a bad boy. The same way you learn that every fucking character is more complex than just their first appearance. And that's the reason why Fumeko cares for people, because she sees there more than what she first thought. That's the idea. That's like the entire thing of the game. So I try to make it around that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, when you are creating a game, of course you're gonna have to have, like, so much depth in not only just the characters, but just, like, in a way to make the player feel related, in a sense, to said characters. Like, for example, in some way, shape, or form, I relate to Meikawa because I came from, and I still am from, a family in which, like, they try to morph me into something that I don't want to be. And I feel like a lot of people will relate to the rival in that way, especially also with Fumeko. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's also the thing that Meikawa is not 100% in the wrong. Like,
exactly.
Hisoka is a murderer. He needs to change. And I don't want people to see Meikawa as just this, like, narcissist who's, like, 100% in the wrong. There's also the thing that, yes, Meikawa did try to take advantage of Hisoka by learning his secret, manipulating him emotionally to become loyal to her, all that stuff. However, Meikawa kinda does have a point, and without Meikawa disarming both Hisoka and Fumeko psychologically, Fumeko and Hisoka could have never changed even if they met both of them. Like, even if they both met and began dating, they would become worse with each other because they never allowed, like, those walls between them. It was Meikawa the one who disarmed them, even if it was for her to take advantage of them. So, like it or not, even if Meikawa was trying to do something bad, she ended up causing a situation where two murderers will stop causing harm to their victims.
Yeah.
So, like it or not, Meikawa is a bad person, but she did the good things. In the case of Hisoka and Fumeko, who are trying to become better people, even if they did terrible things in their past. So that's the thing that I want to talk about in the game.
That's so real. You see that
nobody is a fucking good person.
Yeah. Nobody is
except
a saint.
Kaori. Kaori is just a piece of sunshine.
Yeah, like
No,
nobody
Kaori's
is
just good. Kaori's just a little angel.
But realistically,
Kaori's exception. She's just good.
But realistically, nobody is a saint, especially in real life. Nobody's a saint, and at the end of the day, you don't know who somebody is until, like, you've been around them for a long time. And even then, people can change. Anyways, thank you for answering question 15. Question 16. Customizable uniforms. Will there be different uniforms?
Nope.
Okay. Alright. That was quick. Question 17. Will there be Easter eggs to other franchises?
Few of them, but not too many. There's the obvious killing animation to Among Us, but there's just a lot of different things I like to reference, either subconsciously or just in purpose. I do think there will be, like, a small reference to Friday Night Funkin' in the female and male student talking, like, I just imagine this conversation between female and male student being like, yo, have you heard of this, like, new music game? And the male student is like, yeah, I kinda don't like it, like, the boy is like, beep boop your mama. And the girl's like, yo, just chill, it's a good game, like, just give it a try. And then the other's like, nah, bro, like, I already got my girl, I don't want to play for another one.
Real. That's so real.
Yeah.
Friday Funkin' is real in the Heartstrings universe, chat. Awesome.
Beep boop your mama.
Alrighty. Question 18.
Beep boop these nuts.
These 3 last questions are gonna be relating to, like, what fans might want to know, and because I've asked my friends and some of them have gave me some ideas for all 3 of these. So firstly, will the volunteers eventually get paid?
I do want to pay them eventually. A lot of them are like, no, don't pay me, and they just, like, insisted on me not paying them. But we've been thinking with Pink Cat on paying them and giving them, like, a special treatment. For example, I do want in the future, like, in the main server, like, community center, I want to make a very specific channel for volunteer projects. So only volunteers can write there, and they can just express their desire to make their own project, their own idea, and how to support them with like their own stuff and all that stuff. That's in the future, not right now. But I do have this idea of like just they help me with my project. I might as well just give them like the base audience for their own projects, their own ideas, and just generally just a way to help them for all the help they've given me. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Question 19, and I think this will be really, great for anyone who wants to participate in Heartstrings. How to volunteer?
Wait, okay, sorry. Every now and then I will talk a specific role. Like I will put like a thing everyone just like calling everyone, and I'm like, hey, I need a certain help with like animation or with like music or all that stuff, and I will tag a role from like the musician or artist roles. Like there's a reason why those roles are there. So
yeah.
Maybe I just need something, and I'll just tag that role in particular, and they'll be like, okay, so you can send me friend requests, we can talk about it, and
Alrighty, and well, this is a 2-part question. This is gonna be number 20. Will there be modding capability?
We do want it, but I don't know if we will have it.
Okay. And number another part to this question. So the question being like, since if there will be modding capability, how in some indie series, how in the settings, how when YouTubers are streaming or creating videos, how there are specific settings for them, will that be a thing in Heartstrings?
Like Cult of the Lamb?
Huh?
Like Cult of the Lamb?
Yeah.
It is something we can consider.
Alrighty. Anywho, those are all 20 questions. Thank you so much for answering all of these. Guys, please check out Sophie Stardrop's channel, support the game, and also join the Discord server. You might see me there, and you'll see Sophie there. Really great community. I mentioned this in the Let's Talk About Heartstrings video, how the community is very nice, and yeah.
Actually, I have a question for you now.
Ooh, for me? Dang, okay.
Yeah. I saw your video on Heartstrings, and I remember you saying that you really disliked Hisoka.
I do! I hate him! He sucks! I don't like him! I'm gonna get crucified for that.
I know you have a bit more context on Hisoka now, so what do you think of how he will be handled from what I've said and such?
Well, honestly, as much as I still dislike him, I feel like I will grow to appreciate his character in the story, and the way that he will be handled. I feel like a lot of these people that desperately just want to try to fix him will get disappointed, but also it's like, okay, so how it's like having false hope, and then it's like, you suck, but then false hope again, and then you just drop him. Ooh, you're gonna be evil with him, I can tell.
So, there's a thing with the whole fixing thing. This is more personally with me and my husband. However, when we were younger, we were both labeled as unfixable people, people who are just wrong. We were both labeled as such. Then we met each other. A lot of stuff happened. We began dating, all that stuff. And one of the things that affected me the most was that he told me that I was already perfect. So for once, a loving partner didn't want me to be fixed. He already thought I was good. Wow. And maybe I could just be better if someone gave me the opportunity to. So the moment I actually had someone believing that I could be better is the moment I immediately started to become better, because someone actually fucking believed.
Yeah.
So there's the thing that I was someone who I thought to be broken, to be lost. I met him and I started to notice I had hope. I had a lot of things I wanted to change, and it wasn't because he told me to change. It was because I wanted to change, because now I had hope. in the case of Fumeka and Hisoka, they are both bad people. They know they're bad, and in the case of Hisoka, when he sees Fumeko already just like broken down, disarmed by Mei, he's like, okay, so I'm bad, but I'm not alone, you know?
Yeah.
There's someone who understands this hell I've been through. So in True Ending, they share their backstory, and they've seen they've been through so fucking much. They've done so many fucking wrong things, but they've been also been wrong also in the past. So what do you do from this point now? What do? They finally can ask someone like, hey, what are we supposed to do now? Because who else could you ask guidance for? Who else can you ask, like, hey, I just murdered someone, what do I do now? Like, who do you ask that? So
Yeah.
now that they have each other, they can finally be like, okay, so what's next? They can just finally ask them that. Like, to Fumeko, it's like someone who actually understands what's like being weak. So being helpless, being at the hands of someone else.
Yeah.
So that's a thing that is going to be talked with Fumeka and Hisoka. So they do reach an agreement that I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm going to spoil it anyways. Fumeka and Hisoka do consider a lot of things. For example, they consider going to jail together, like confessing for all the crimes. However, that leads to another problem, because they are minors. That's one of the reasons why I did say way back in the day, like a message or two, that there's a reason why Hisoka and Fumeko are minors. And that's because law is less punishing with minors. So they can be in jail when they grow up, but they're going to be in less years in jail. So after they come out of jail, what's next? So they can try to find a job, but no one would like to work with a murderer. So what do? Do they just stay in the streets? Do they ask for help? Who can they ask for help? Their families would hate them, they would disown them, they would have nowhere to go, so they would end up in the streets. They will have to fight for food, and maybe they will go back into crime because their minds are so fucked up that they know they are capable of falling into that trap again. So they don't want to hurt people, but they know that if they do that, they will hurt people again, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to commit crime again, and that's a thing. A lot of people who came out of jail go back into a life of crime because they are already fucked up. They don't think they have any more hope, and like it or not, their actions have already made a situation where they can no longer be helped by traditional means. So, what do you do after that? The point is, at some point, it's not even about justice anymore. It's just about not creating more harm than the ones you can fix. Because no matter how much time they go to jail, no matter if they die, if they commit suicide, it doesn't matter what happens. The people who they've killed will never come back to life. There's no way the families will be able to close that chapter of their lives because they've lost someone so dear to them. So what now? What do we do now? So we cannot die because our families will suffer too. Like, we have people who care about us, like it or not. So the families of the victims won't be satisfied because they're like, oh, the murderer of my child just committed suicide. That's just so unsatisfying. They could go to jail, but after that, what? Like, they just get out of jail, they commit crime again, and they just go back. Like, what do you do after that?
Yeah. That's
So,
insane.
yeah, so they do reach an agreement of just staying together to keep the secret between one another, and they do actually give closure to the family of Kaori and Hiroshi. So they make this story where Hiroshi wanted to test this like cool soccer trick, and he invited Kaori because he was flirting with her, and then they just fell off like a cliff or something, and they just throw their bodies into the water, into a river. So their families get their body, they get like this little bit of closure for what happened to like their the loved ones. And Hiroshi and Fumeka just decide to completely isolate themselves from society because they don't want to hurt anyone again. So at the end of the game, it is a spoiler, they both get away of the Isles. They just go away anywhere, just anywhere. They just want to start a new life. And, they've done horrible things. They should never forget what they've done. And as such, they need to act to not repeat it again. They don't want new victims. Pain and suffering just causes more pain and suffering. It is your job to change. And how can you change when people don't expect you to change?
Exactly.
That's the thing.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
I love this whole Heartstrings thing. I'm excited for it. And overall, you have shown countless times again that it's like you are taking a complete spin with this Yandere game, and I really like that a lot, because usually with Yandere games, it's, oh my goodness, a baddie spotted, ooh la la, I'm gonna kill for them and that's it. You are actually having depth with it, and I like that a lot. And I feel like with the more people that come into this fandom, I think that will be really, really awesome. So
Wait, I have a fandom?
yes, you do.
No, wait.
You do.
Wait, when did it become this popular? Wait.
You do. Everybody in that server is technically your fandom. Do you realize that?
This was not a part of the plan.
Well, you're gonna get a bigger fandom after this, huh?
Oh God.
Anywho, again, thank you for answering all of the questions that I've had. If anyone wants to have more questions in the comments, leave it down below.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really know how to end videos.
Drink water, and stay safe.
Yeah, salutations or whatever. I mean, bye bye, whatever.